So, hello everyone. My today's topic name is hyper reality and the spectacle culture in the age of simulation. Academic information, table of contents. My research question is how do media, social platforms, and digital technologies create a hyper real experiences that shape a contemporary perceptions of a reality, identity, and a culture. My hypothesis is exposures to a mediated representations, simulations, and spectacles in a media and digital platforms significantly alters an individual's perception of reality, encouraging performative identities and a preference for a curated, hyper-real experiences over authentic lived experiences. Introduction. Yes, sir. Uh, so Baudrillard's seminal work Simulacra and Simulation 1981 outlines how signs and symbols no longer merely represent reality but instead create a new reality. So that is a more real than a real itself. In this hyperreal world, media and technology construct experiences that individuals perceive as a more authentic than their actual lived experiences. Key concepts in a contemporary society, representation often replaces reality. Jean Baudrillard's simulation refers to a sign and images that no longer reflect reality but create their own existence. This leads to a hyperreality, a condition where reality and representation are indistinguishable and a simulation are experienced as a more real than a reality itself. Uh, Complementing this, Guy Debord's spectacle describes a society dominated by images where authentic social life is replaced by mediated appearances. Together, these concepts explain how media, advertising, and digital culture shape our perception and blur the line between the real and the simulated. Simulation and media. In the modern world, advertising, cinema, and social media do more than reflect than a reality. They construct it. Images, signs, and a representation shape how people perceive the world. For example, influencer culture markets are not just product but a lifestyle and identities, turning curate images into a simulated reality that audience engage with as it if it is where a real. In today's media driven world, advertising, cinema, and social media construct a reality rather than reflect it. Globally, platforms like Instagram and TikTok turn everyday life into a digital performance, where influencers such as Kylie Jenner and Khaby Lam sell lifestyle instead of products. In Indian context, we see Bollywood films and ads like Surf Excel, Daag Achhe Hain, or influencers simulate idealized emotions, values, and the social harmony. Both globally and India media blurs the boundary between image and reality, turning life into a simulation of ideals and desires. Hyperreality in everyday life. So, in today's digital age, people often engage more with representations than with real experiences. Jean Baudrillard's concept of hyperreality captures this condition where media, technology, and entertainment produce images so vivid and desirable that they replace reality itself. What we see online in films or in advertisements is not just a reflection of life, but a constructed version that shapes how we think, desire, and behave. Globally, platforms like Instagram, TikTok promote hyperreal lifestyles through influencers or AI-generated personas such as Lil Miquela and Shudhu Graham, whose virtual presence feel more real than authenticity itself. In Indian context, Bollywood films glamorize love, success, and family life, while influencers carefully curate digital selves that audience treat as genuine. Even India's virtual influencer, Kaira, shows how artificial creation now possesses a real culture and a commercial influence, proving that in the age of simulation, the image of becomes more powerful than the original. The spectacle. Guy Debord, in The Society of the Spectacle, describes the modern society as one where appearances and images dominate social life. The spectacle refers to a condition in which representations replace direct experiences. People relate to the world primarily through a mediated image rather than a personal engagement. So, reality becomes something to be consumed visually rather than lived. In today's world, news often takes the form of entertainment, with the sensationalism shaping public perceptions more than a factual reporting. Similarly, social media platforms like Instagram and YouTube organize a life around visibility, curate moments, live updates, and filtered experiences become more substitutes for genuine social interactions. In the Indian context, a political campaigns, celebrity culture, and even social movements are deeply shaped by the spectacle. Events such as a high-profile wedding, political rally, and televised debates are staged as a visual performance to influence emotion and identity. From Bollywood awards shows to a viral social media trends, the spectacle creates a world where appearance and performance define a reality. Effect on culture. In the age of hyperreality and spectacle, culture itself become a network of images, simulations, and the performances rather than a lived experiences. People begin to perceive the world through a media filter, leading to a distorted sense what is real. Authentic experiences are replaced by a accurate representation. Travel become about taking a perfect photos. Relationships are measured by online visibility, and success is defined by how it appears to others. Identity too becomes increasingly performative. Individuals craft and maintain versions of themselves for digital display on Instagram, YouTube, living through a simulations of their ideal selves rather than their genuine emotions or actions. So, in today's culture, we find that people are more look in showing rather than experiencing or living real experiences. In Indian context, influencer culture and aspirational advertising amplify this performative tendency where people measure happiness and worth through a material display and a social validation. For example, contemporary culture vividly illustrate Baudrillard's and Debord's ideas through a numerous real-world examples. Virtual influencers uh, ins- uh, or brands deals emotional engagement despite not being a real people. Similarly, reality TV shows like Big Boss in India or Keeping Up with the Kardashian globally transforms ordinary life into a performance where participants act out of dramatized versions of themselves for public consumption. The rise of meme culture further shows how humor, emotion, and even political critique are now mediated through an endlessly shared image rather than a lived discussion. Together, these examples reveal how digital media transforms culture into a cycle of science and spectacles where imitation, simulation, and performance dominate the experience of reality. Criticism and implications. In conclusion, in the postmodern age, hyperreality describes a world where simulations become a more real than a reality itself. According to Jean Baudrillard, reality is no longer a fixed reference point. Instead, it is a constructed, mediated, and consumed through images, signs, and digital representations. Debord's concept of the spectacle further shows how society organize experiences around appearance, shaping not only perception but also identity and culture. So together, these ideas highlight how media, technology, and simulation dominate contemporary life, influencing how people think, feel, and interact with the world around them. Here is my references, and thank you. Now we are free to ask questions.
My question is, how does hyperreality affect the way people understand truth in today's media culture?
Hyperreality affect the way people understand truth in today's media. So it blurs the line between what is truth and what is illusion, what is AI made. So we think what is truth is what we see. So it blurs the line between this.
So my question is, what is the difference between Baudrillard's hyperreality and Debord's spectacles?
Yes, they both convey a same message but in a different way. Baudrillard's hyperreality shows that what is copied or what is illusion is a real rather than a real ones. And Debord's the spectacle shows that how people or organizations shows or looks what is a real rather than a real ones. So they both are convey a same message but in a different way. Thank you.